Hey guys, it's Abby, and in today's vlog I am going to show you how I do my Patreon work. It's basically tasks that are spread out in over a month, and it's actually the first week of July, so I thought of walking you through. And since it's my Patreon anniversary as well, I wanted to show you all the things that go behind the scenes for my Patreon/art club. I'd like to call it art club more than Patreon because it's easier to understand what it is, but in general it's basically a place where I teach classes and also hold journaling hangouts, and also I guess connect with like-minded creatives. And it's also a little community I built online, and my patrons help support this channel as well as support my content creation job. So most of the rewards I provide are actually digital, and this is a conscious choice because first of all, logistics from the Philippines going to other countries is relatively harder, and second of all, I don't want to delay the rewards. I just want my rewards to be right snap in everyone's fingertips. So that is the goal, and eventually, hopefully for future Abby who wants to live in another country, that way holding workshops like these are easier because you can just, Zoom is basically dominating in this department. So yeah, for the first week it's all about digital downloads, resource toolkits, and also announcing what to expect for patrons. Actually, I've posted that last week, but today I'm going to be designing digital downloads. Actually, yesterday I already cropped and scanned a couple of typewritten quotes that I wanted to put out for this month. So I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna work on that. So the whole idea of Patreon as a platform is actually for artists like me to get supported financially, because we create content on Instagram and we don't earn any money from that. And apart from that, more so on my end, I just wanted also to fulfill my lifelong dream of wanting to be a teacher and to create a community centered around teaching and education, but in a fun way. I always thought about this because when I was starting, I was like, who am I going to, what kind of teaching style do I want to impart? And I don't really want it to be like super strict. So the whole idea of my approach is really like enjoying it and doing it for fun. I mean, as for me, it is my job, but for my patrons, it's not their job to be artists or creators, but the fact that they insert this aspect or add it into their daily life makes a lot of difference and sort of moves them forward in their creative journey. And ever since I've published my books and grown my community in the past 5-6 years, all I've ever wanted is to help other people on their creative journey, and that's always been at the forefront of everything I do, like for the shop, for my Instagram, for our community page, and ultimately for Patreon, also for this channel. And it's why I decided to join Patreon last year. I've been putting this off for 3 years now, and mostly because I'm a coward, and at the same time I didn't really know what rewards to offer because I do a lot of things. Like I do lettering, I do journaling, I also do design work, and I didn't want to be in a position where I offer hodgepodge of things without being connected somehow. And looking back, actually, from the first few months of me starting Patreon versus now, a lot of things have significantly changed, and I think it's I've been able to refine it thanks to also the inputs of patrons, and for me, for like really monitoring the progress and how each month goes by. I think it's safe to say it's my salary for the month, because apart from this I also run the shop, but the shop is also erratic. Like I don't earn a lot in a month all the time. It's like it comes in waves, and a lot of the shop money goes back to running the shop because I have to pay for production. But for Patreon, a portion of the money goes to my team who runs and creates content for the community page, and a portion goes to me, a portion goes to some of the items that I'll be buying and like reviewing on this channel. So I think it's a really good business model somehow. I mean, I also get paid for books, but books are like one in a few years kind of project, so it's not really set in stone. But Patreon, since it's a monthly thing, I get to cash out and I get like a little salary, so that's also why I really like the platform. do a lot of different types, so hopefully that will give you an idea on what to journal, and then we can talk about it. I base a lot of my spreads on the color of the packaging. So you have the red one. This one is like vertical lines, right? And then if you put this here, it's horizontal. So, you know, in some way, it creates some sort of... Yes, agree on Army Navy's packaging. I never throw them. Look at that. Oh my gosh, it's so nice. For this week on Patreon, I have to record the Freebie Friday, which is a podcast episode of my mid-year review of books, films, and music and series that I've recently watched and I wanted to recommend to my patrons. Also, some news. Last week, we finally reached the 200 patron mark, which is so surreal considering I've been doing this for over a year already, and most of the time I have no idea what I'm doing. But you know, sometimes you're just like, you know, give yourself a pat on the back. I'm actually knowing what I'm doing, and it's so amazing to see how the community has further grown. This week I'm also laying low of patron work because there's nothing really much that I have to finish except for the podcast and maybe planning a few things in time for the class, which is happening next week. Hey guys, it's Abby and welcome to a special mid-year review edition of this podcast episode. First one is Ted Lasso. This is on Apple TV. Hello, and it's Friday, July 23rd. Feels like a Wednesday. Ideally, I do Patreon work on Wednesdays, but because this past Tuesday was a holiday, so a lot of my work moved this week and I adjusted accordingly, which is great because, you know me, I work a lot, and one thing that I've tried to do this week is do like a little reset on my routine and really pay attention to the quality of work that I'm doing as well as the quantity in terms of tasks. So for today, I have two main tasks for Patreon. It's to record a podcast episode once again, but this is the actual podcast reward episode that I do every month, and then the last week was a freebie one. So this week's Freebie Friday, I already announced to my patrons that I will move it to next week. It's gonna be a full-blown Notion setup tour, which is gonna be fun, and also a reminder for me to fix my work homepage because it's not yet fixed at the moment. I think that's the only page I need to fix actually. So yeah, today's podcast episode, I already wrote some notes. I'll show you later on, but I've been following the Creative Journey Oracle deck sequence. So the next card is called Create Something Today, and I'm going to be talking about the idea of creation, which I think would be a fun topic because there's a lot of debate in making things just for its existence versus making things because you want to post it online and you need some sort of like validation that it's a good piece of work. So I have my fair share of experience on those things, so I think that would be interesting. So usually third and fourth week is the time that I try to think about what rewards I want to offer to my patrons. I don't really plan every single theme. I sort of wait it out as I go because sometimes inspiration just randomly hits, but I follow the curriculum, the student curriculum, which means like there are classes, but they don't directly link to the downloads. Like the printables can be about astrology, and then the class can be about blog content creation, and that doesn't really affect the patrons because I don't want it to be like super unified to the point that it gets boring if we just focus on one thing. So yeah, the past couple of days, some of my patrons have been talking about having like a handwriting hangout, so probably that's going to be our thing next month instead of a journaling hangout. because a lot of them got into fountain pens as well. So I think it'd be nice to, you know, work on something like that. It's also the time of the month where I have to think about the theme that encompasses not only for Patreon, because usually, you know, Patreon, I have the downloads, I have the printables with the downloads, wallpapers, the resources included, and then the overall color scheme and theme will also directly affect the community page. So I sort of wired it that way just so it's easier for me to sort of connect everything as a single entity at the end of the day, and just so the messaging is streamlined. This is the advertising graduate in me talking, but yeah, let's get to work. And you know, there can be also another purpose, not just for social media, but just making the work just because you need something to do. You know, I think the misconception here is, you know, when you make something and then you post it online, there's always this predisposition that it has to be finished, it has to be perfect. I've had that going on in my system for quite some time because people want to see artworks. They don't want to see like works in progress and stuff. Am I having iced coffee on a rainy day? Yes. But also because I ordered this yesterday and I have not eaten. So yeah, the class just ended. Sadly, the battery decided to die. But it was a very interesting class because I realized that a lot of my patrons are actually writers, and because I have so much experience from blogging, it's just nice to, you know, refresh my memory. I think what's great about these classes for me is also I get to explore topics that I've never thought of revisiting. You know, having this opportunity to just share it and, you know, hopefully inspire more people to do this is really fulfilling for me. So that ends week 3 of Patreon work. The second half of 2021, I thought it'd be fitting to share with you an updated Notion tour. So my last task for this month is to pack the remainder of the Happy Mail. I think I mentioned this in a previous vlog before, but I'm sending out Happy Mail to my patrons, all of them, because they deserve it, and we recently reached 200 plus patrons. So here is what each patron will receive. So these are our tiers, and then some emojis and stickers, as well as a note from me and washi samples from the designs that I'm going to be coming out with this coming October. So have that. I also had these printed, super cute. It's basically the community logo which my sister designed. I drew the hand, and yeah, she was the one who did like the illustrator work, and I just wanted like a seal to put it on the middle part. So this is gonna be the seal. Our new goal actually for 250 patrons is we're going to make exclusive merch for Patreon. So that's gonna be exciting. So if you want to join in on that, make sure to pledge because we're currently on 208 as of this recording. So yeah, that'd be exciting because I think having my patrons give inputs on what products they want to see is going to be a fun exercise for me as well. And I wanted to bring in also the artists and writers who work with me at the community to design stuff, and I kind of want to turn them into merch. So I'm really all about bringing in new artists and making new merch. So it's gonna be exciting. But yeah, let's go and pack some happy. It's surprisingly very sunny today, which I am not complaining about. Generally, this is what a month looks like for me in the Patreon department. So earlier today, I finished up the calendar art and rewards preview, as well as the creativity challenge prompt. So I tried to make those tasks like all together. I finished them in the morning or in an afternoon, just so it's easier for me to like share it online and share it to my patrons and to you guys. So I do hope you enjoyed checking out what happens in a month over at my Patreon. And if you want to be part of our art club, do consider becoming a patron today at patreon.com/abc. And yeah, I do hope you also enjoy this vlog format, because I realized like in a week I do several different things, but if I could like categorize some of them so that I could show you how it looks like this. So yeah, that's it. That's basically it. And thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate your support, and you know, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I feel weird talking about like, oh, subscribe, blah, blah. But so it's really up to you if you want to subscribe. But this is what you will see. It's really like no filter, everyday happenings of a creative who's still struggling to manage her time like every one of us. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next vlog. Take care. Bye.